How's it going, guys? Welcome back, and thanks for tuning in to my review of the Steel Wheel Knives Gekko Mini, number 1551, made in Italy, as you can tell there. G10 handle scales, nicely sculpted, faceted, like all those Gekko knives are. N690CO steel on this one, which is a really nice steel. It gives us some good corrosion resistance and just takes a nice fine edge as well. I'm liking it a lot, guys. I first saw this knife down at SHOT Show 2016, and I knew it was coming. I didn't want to say anything about it, but I knew it was coming. The guys down there at Steel Wheel mentioned that this one was on the way, but that I had to keep it on the hush-hush. And so I did, but I was pretty excited to get my hands on it and look at it. And thanks to them, by the way, the guys over at Steel Wheel, for sending me this sample right here to test and abuse. And it has been clearly used. Okay, not really abused, but used well. And I thought about cleaning that off before bringing it to the reviewing table just to make it look prettier. But you know what? You'll see lots of pretty footage in overlay, so don't worry about it. And also, I kind of like the honest wear, at least the honest filth. So it's a lockback, as you can plainly tell. Basically, go to my Gekko review, this guy right here, the full-size Gekko folder review, the 1505 review. Go to that, listen to everything I said there, and then just bring that down by a couple inches, inch or two, and a few ounces. Yeah, it's the exact same knife, just scaled down. Different materials. This one's micarta and D2, whereas this one is G10 and N690CO. Aside from that, it is very, very similar in hand. I like the Mini quite a bit better, in fact. It's right up my alley as far as size is concerned. It's not too big, not too heavy. It's a good handy size, in my opinion. Compares very nicely against a lot of other good EDC knives, which I'll bring out here in a minute. So as far as choosing between the two of them is concerned, I would definitely say that the Mini is where it's at, just because that, man, it just rings my bell. This is the size, that kind of size range that just really does it for me. But let's get to some of the specs and kind of show you the weight, show you the size and all that stuff real quick. So we'll bring the scale out here real fast, and laying the, let's go with the full-size Gekko first, just to get some perspective. That one comes in at 6.3 ounces. Kind of hefty for EDC, in my opinion. I did it, I carried it for a while, but I would much prefer 5 ounces. And that's what this comes in at, which is good. I mean, it's, yeah, you can go lighter, but honestly, I think 5 ounces, depending on how it carries and how it feels in pocket, how it feels in hand as well, because that's, you know, when you've got a nice hefty knife, a nice tough knife, you can get some good hard work done with it. It doesn't fatigue you as well or as much as the smaller knives, lighter knives would necessarily. So you get all that added benefit, and if you can still carry it well, gosh, 5 ounces is not a big deal. Let's look at some of the length, etc. Now, I do have a set of calipers, but they kind of suck, so we're going to skip over that. But there's our ruler in relation to the length of the knife. You can see there it comes in at about 7 3/4 inches in total length. Blade length coming in at 3.5, I think, is what it is. The width, we might as well try to get that. Once again, this is where calipers would come in handy, but again, they suck. And we've got what looks like a little over 1/2 inch. Yeah, just a little bit over 1/2 inch there. Not too bad. It is a little bulky in pocket compared to some other knives kind of in its size range, but not that bad. It's really not that bad. And we're going to bring out a couple of those other knives here in a second. Couple last details to talk about on this knife. The pocket clip is pretty nice and effective. It gives you about that much of the knife sticking out of your pocket. You've got a nice lanyard hole there, which should fit paracord through it, and a nice kind of polished rounded pommel right there for breaking up some bags of ice or whatever else you need to bust. Obviously, I said that it's a lockback, and you've got some nice jimping there on the lockback button, and just a good lockup in general. It feels like a lockback, but it's nice. It's solid front to back and side to side. Fully adjustable, obviously in the pivot as well, and looks like you can take the whole thing apart. And you can also swap that pocket clip over to this side, it looks like, no problem. All right, so I think we've covered all the really crucial details for this knife. Again, if I've missed anything, see my original Gekko review, and that covers pretty much everything else. Let's bring in a few knives to compare it against, and let's maybe zoom out just a little bit so we get a bigger picture here. I think a really good one to compare it against would be this guy right here, the Benchmade full-size Griptilian, and you can see that they are very comparable in size. What else? Well, we got to definitely look at this guy, Spyderco Paramilitary 2, of course, which in my opinion is also very, very comparable as a knife. Maybe just one, two more. Okay, how about this guy right here? This is also a cool knife. Has not been one of my favorites, but I like it. You know, it's good construction and a good opportunity to try out CTS XHP for not too much money, and that's the Cold Steel Code 4. And I don't know, there's probably some other ones we could roll in here. I don't know how necessary it is. Maybe just because I like it so much. How about this guy right here? Benchmade 4300. Yeah, so there's just a little smattering of what's available out there. We're gonna get rid of this real quick. And the one thing we haven't talked about yet is price. On Steel Will's website, the Gekko Mini comes in at $199. You'll find it elsewhere for considerably less, probably in the $170 range, maybe less than that, maybe $160-ish. I'm not quite sure, and it probably varies depending on the version you get, whether it be micarta or G10, coated or uncoated. The blade, by the way, just, I mean, besides the gunk on it right now, so shiny and beautiful. Nice rounded spine on it. Just a cool, cool knife. If it's in your price range, if you dig the look, I definitely recommend it. It would be one that you will quite enjoy. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm the Late Boy Scout. We'll see you all in the next one. And that's one of the first things I noticed in picking this knife up and taking it around and carrying it and using it was that super smooth action. And I don't know if I can really properly capture this for you, but that is such a phenomenally smooth opening.